inside the boardroom. With silver prices pushing higher and industry consolidation heating up, the hunt for high quality silver assets is on, and Apollo Silver is right in the middle of it, expanding its land package at the Calico project in California and advancing its Cinco de Mayo asset in Mexico. Joining me now to unpack what this all means is Ross McElroy, President and CEO of Apollo Silver. Ross, welcome to the show.
Great to be with you here today, Mel. Thank you.
So let's start with the big picture. Silver has been on a tear. What's driving the move, do you think, and how do you see that playing out for silver equities like Apollo?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think the whole precious metal market has been, showing great returns over the last year. So gold's been a tremendous performer, up well over 30% in the last 12 months. But I think, the last 6 months, as silver's playing some catch up there, we've seen prices of silver increase by more than 25% versus gold at 21. So I think that, there is a belief out there that there's a certain ratio that silver trades to gold. Presently, that ratio is about 94 to 1. Historically, in the last several decades, that's closer to 65. Dollars or 65 to 1 ratio. I mean, that implies a silver price of about $50 per ounce. And I think this is where it's headed. So silver is playing catch up with gold. It's also, an industrial metal and has a lot of uses in today's modern, industry as we move forward, with cleaner energy. Silver is a big component of that. So I think everything's working in its favor. And of course, the equities always show a great deal of torque compared to the price of the commodities. So I think that's what we're seeing overall in the macro sense.
So Ross, you've got two exciting projects in Calico and Cinco de Mayo. Can you give us a quick sort of overview of each, where they are, what makes them interesting geologically, and why these jurisdictions matter?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think both of our jurisdictions in California, Southern California, and the one in Mexico, those are both exceptional jurisdictions. California, we're located in the San Bernardino County, so that's our Calico project. It's an advanced project. We've with drill delineated resources of over 110 million ounces of silver in the measured and indicated, an additional 50 million ounces in inferred. And this is a project that we can move forward through the various economic phases. The next would be a preliminary economic assessment that we'll probably want to start towards the end of this year, followed up by pre-feasibility study, and then, of course, moving on to feasibility study. Ultimately, we feel Calico can be a producing asset, an important player, and you're looking at a jurisdiction that's quite favorable for mine development. On the Mexico side, northern Mexico, the state of Chihuahua, is our Cinco de Mayo project. Now, Cinco is an option agreement that we have with Mag Silver. It is a world-class asset in Mexico. It's a carbonate replacement deposit. It has already a very large historic resource calculated on it. We are working to get social license back, that allows us to get back on the ground and start drilling and really beef up this project. There's plenty of upside as well on Cinco. So two amazing projects. The one in Mexico has really got a lot of potential growth there, and the one in California is one that we can move forward to a production story.
Yeah, so you recently expanded your Calico land package by over 280%. What kind of upside are you seeing from those claims and other exploration work that you've been doing there?
Yeah, I think that the upsizing of that property is a tremendous advancement in Calico. Now, not only does it triple the size, but it triples the size where it matters. The deposits are controlled by the Calico fault system that basically runs roughly northwest to southeast, and the deposits occur in a string along that fault zone. So the land package that we've now added to it substantially adds along the Calico fault trend. There's not a whole lot of exploration work done in the area, historic exploration work. There has been some. We know there's old historic silver mines in this area. We do have a few surface results that, really whet our appetite to explore there, but basically it represents a good growth opportunity for us to continue testing for additional silver, and I'll add gold mineralization along the Calico fault system. So that's something we'll be wanting to kick off in the second half of this year, is exploration as well up at Calico. So we know we've got a deposit we believe is economic. We want to move that along, but we also have a tremendous upside with the exploration potential on the new claims that we just added.
So that's sort of what I wanted to get into next. What's the roadmap for the next 12 months? What are the major milestones you're targeting across the portfolio?
Yeah, certainly. Well, in California, Calico, we're on target to do a revised resource estimate by probably in August is when I anticipate that it'll be ready and out. Now, what the revision is that we'll be adding a barite resource to the deposit. Now, there is historically known barite association in this deposit. It has as I say, in a historic resource estimate, there's about 13.5% barite in the Waterloo deposit itself. Where barite is important is it's classified as a critical mineral by the U.S. government, by the federal government. And we know that critical minerals are getting a fast track on the permitting side to development. So it probably allows us a political tool in order to continue on the very positive permitting front. So looking in August, having a resource update at Calico, including the barite resource. And then the next steps will be, as I say, moving it along the economic chain. So we'll be starting to work next at, the exploration work, which we've already talked about, but moving on to a preliminary economic assessment towards the end of this year. So it's really going to be exciting at both the exploration and the development front. So we plan to be very busy in California this year.
It does sound really busy. So just finally, Ross, I wanted to talk a bit about the team you have over there. You've got some serious technical and leadership depth at Apollo. How does that experience set you apart in the sector that's getting increasingly competitive?
I think the team is everything. I mean, assets are a wonderful thing to have, but without the proper team behind it, the assets just stall. They can't move forward. I think you're looking at a group here that has a tremendous track record of being able to move projects forward, to raise capital, which is such a key part of this equation, know the right steps in order to bring projects forward. We'll be adding to our exploration team so that we can continue, on that front. We've got a social community team down in Mexico that's working towards bringing the social license back on the Cinco de Mayo that'll allow us to get on the ground there. So, if we can gain access down at Cinco de Mayo, we could be busy there towards the end of this year. And if we do, that'll be a very aggressive program as well. So, a lot of things moving, but that is a result of the strength of the management that has been there before, knows how to move these projects forward, and, can basically build a lot of shareholder wealth for investors.
It definitely sounds like you're going to be very busy in a good way, and we'll be watching closely as Apollo continues to push forward. Thanks so much for being here, Ross.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure to be with you today, Mel.